Ladies and gentlemen, now I have the pleasure of introducing the KP Chair for 2024, Mr. Ahmed Bin Sulayem.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. I'd like to thank His Excellency, Minister of Trade, Dr. Tania Zayudi, for his remarks, and thank you all for joining us in Dubai for the 2024 Kimberley Process plenary meeting. We gather here at a critical moment for the diamond industry. Yesterday we heard at the Dubai Diamond Conference that our industry stands at a crossroads. We have a choice to grow and evolve, or face the risk of shrinking with diminishing returns. I will let David Kelly elaborate on what's required from everyone involved in the diamond industry chain, but the essence is clear. We must all pull together, for much is at stake. Many stakeholders across the world are watching what is going on here. Over 10 million lives and livelihoods depend on this industry globally, and our responsibility to them has never been more pressing. We must acknowledge the weight of our responsibility, especially as we navigate a complex and unpredictable geopolitical landscape. While we cannot expect the Kimberley Process to resolve every global challenge, the role it plays remains indispensable. For 21 years, the KP has held firm as a one-trick pony, but what a remarkable trick it has been. And despite numerous difficulties along the way, the process has evolved into the most integral mechanism we have for keeping conflict diamonds out of the global market. Just ask the rare metals industry, the phones industry, who are looking to the KP to see if they can implement some of its best practices. I know this from experience. However, it is essential to remember that the Kimberley Process is exactly that, a process. We are constantly refining, learning, and building on what's been achieved. We may each have our own vision of what the KP should be, but it cannot be everything to everyone. Attempting to expand its role too far risks losing the core achievements that have made such a difference, particularly in Africa. We must do what we can to prevent unnecessary overreach and protect the KP's essence. Today, the KP stands as a collaborative network of 59 efficient nodes, which I hope will become 60 by the end of this week. Whilst I'm not a fan of the term node, it has been forced into the lexicon of the diamond industry. Creating duplicates of these nodes or suggesting that some are superior or more trustworthy than others would undermine the significant progress we've made together over these 2 decades. Single nodes can be problematic. Just ask Judge Michel Claes. Each sovereign nation is, of course, free to go over and above the KP's minimum requirements, although I prefer the term best practices. But we must recognize the impact this has on others, on our brothers and sisters in this industry. For 21 years, the KP has provided the world's only passport for rough diamonds. No other commodity in the world has this. Today, the KP is the only global and intergovernmental certification scheme regulating trade in rough diamonds and preventing conflict diamonds entering the market. With a stringent peer review mechanism, the KP maintains the integrity of its network and protects its 59 nodes, a unique tripartite structure that is the envy of other industries. Our certification scheme has effectively ensured the KP has lived up to its mandate by halting conflict diamonds from entering the system. I have also seen firsthand how it has virtually eliminated smuggling and empowered producer countries, especially those in Africa, to collect rightful royalties from their natural resources. And we appreciate all efforts made by the participants to ensure the WTO waiver has been extended for another 6 years. This year, the UAE's chairmanship has been a year of delivery. We have worked on initiatives unprecedented in the KP's history, including the intersessional special plenary session, hosting essential workshops, and establishing the KP's first full-time employee and office in Gaborone, Botswana. We will also be presenting some proof of concept studies. This theme of delivery has resonated deeply throughout the KP family, and as chair, it is my strong wish that the plenary also delivers in terms of tangible action. In my recent travels, I witnessed the challenges and successes linked to our industry. In the Central African Republic, I learned of the hardship caused by the 10-year embargo, and I look forward to the results of the recent review mission to see how the KP might be part of the solution to improve the welfare of the country. Conversely, I have just come back from Botswana, Namibia, Sierra Leone, and can bear witness to how the revenues from their diamonds have materially strengthened their economies and uplifted their communities. It is unquestionable that diamonds do good, but to live up to what diamonds can represent, we must practice respect for each other, for our tripartite structure, and for diverse viewpoints. This is not just about listening. It is about recognizing the diversity of perspectives that make our decisions better. We may hold different opinions, yet every member here plays an important part in the KP's success. At the intersessional, we held the first panel of evidence featuring voices from diamond-producing communities, individuals who had the courage to stand up and share their stories for how diamonds have impacted their lives and communities. These discussions were crucial, and I hope this will not be the last time we raise difficult issues. Because while we may not always agree, these discussions set the stage for understanding improvement and progress. Even if we don't like what we hear, the process must always be respected. We are, after all, a family living on one stone. A family that makes decisions by consensus. As the African proverb goes, alone we go faster, together we go farther. If consensus eludes us, we must keep on talking and negotiating and maintain a positive mindset. Fundamentally, we must continue to uphold the process and improve the lives of those connected to the diamond industry. All 10 million people will rely on it. Before I conclude today's opening address, I would be amiss not to address the single node issue. Having publicly shared my concerns with the Financial Times following the KP Plenary in Zimbabwe, November 2023, I clearly stated the proposed scheme must take into account African diamond-producing nations. Following the diamond dispute, a clear rift has developed between Europe and many African-producing nations who were equally vocal about the proposed scheme. Despite a co-authored letter from Botswana, Namibia, and Angola, as well as numerous counter-proposals, Europe still implemented a single-note concept that has and continues to cause harm to Africa's diamond communities. Equally, the African Diamond Producers Association, which represents 19 producers and 60% of the global output, have clearly emphasized how this would bring supply chain disruption and added burden of cost. Fast forward a year later, and the sanctions which have been given the added hubris of proposing a further layer of no's which are still ultimately accountable to Europe are a haunting reminder of Europe's long-standing policies on market control and its inability to promote self-regulation for sovereign African states. I say this in spite of Botswana or any other African nation's acceptance of the deal, as it remains on a discretionary basis as dictated by Europe. With the current state of global politics moving generally right, particularly in the wake of Donald Trump's landslide victory in the US elections, surely Mario Draghi, the former European Central Bank president's comments on the future of European competitiveness ought to be resonating with all of us. I'm not alone in believing that a decentralized system of regulation is not only ethically the right thing to do, but the most effective in terms of achieving our broad-based goals. Let us not forget, the KP's 59 diamond controlling nodes are based on a tried and tested process that has been in effect for the past 21 years. And through your ongoing support and collaboration, the KP family has all the tools needed to make the improvements required in a manner that finally provides the absolute right of all nations to self-regulate their natural resources. A good example of this is the UAE Proof of Concept KP certification platform that we will showcase later this week. Your Excellencies, dear members, you have shown the world what is possible, and it is now on us to ensure that the tragic events of the past are not repeated. The KP has created a framework that works, and we must do all we can to keep our work going and moving forward. Thank you for your continued dedication, and let's make this a plenary that delivers. Thank you.